Hey everyone, welcome back to Observe. In today's video, we're going to be analyzing the nonverbal communication of Caylee Anthony again. Now, this isn't the first video that I've done on Caylee Anthony, so if you would like to be able to get more of a backstory than what I will provide today, I suggest you go and check out the video that I did before this. It is linked in the description of this video. However, more on all of this in just a second. Let's go ahead and roll the intro. Today's video is sponsored in part by Raycon. If you've been on the channel for a minute, you know that Raycon has been a longtime supporter of Observe, and I use my everyday earbuds constantly, be it listening to music, audiobook, podcast, or literally any form of audio content. Now, with the holidays coming up, stress will be rising for people, and whether or not you are shopping for the holidays or perhaps traveling through congested airports and stations, Raycon can help you provide solutions for that stress. They have a beautiful variety of premium colors to fit with any of your personal style, and on top of that, they sound great as well. Along with this, their noise isolation makes crowded public spaces much less overwhelming. I will oftentimes throw on some calm classical music in my buds when I find myself having to be in loud public spaces like that. Raycon's wireless earbuds, headphones, and speakers offer premium sound, useful features, and a comfortable fit that feels almost custom. Along with this, they have up to 54 hours of battery life, which will allow you to listen to content for an extended time with peace of mind that you won't run out of juice somewhere along the line. For the next month, Raycon will be having a countdown to Christmas with a new pop-up flash deal for you to take advantage of every single day. So, click the link in the description below or go to buyraycon.com/observe to get 15% off site-wide with the code HOLIDAY. As I said, there will be a new pop-up deal every single day during Raycon's countdown to Christmas, and I'll try to keep the description box as updated as I possibly can with the latest offers. But just so you know, you can also always go to buyraycon.com/observe and you will be able to see the best deals available. Thank you again to Raycon for sponsoring this video, and back to our regularly scheduled programming. All right, for those of you who decided not to go and watch the other video, here is a brief backstory for you. In 2008, the strange actions that Caylee Anthony took brought the attention of the entire world to her case. The then 22-year-old single mother from Orlando, Florida, was revealed to have spun a web of lies to cover up for the disappearance of her 2-year-old daughter, Caylee, that summer. The Facebook photos of her partying and lack of emotional displays in her interviews only helped to fuel the charges of the first-degree murder before Caylee's body was discovered later that year. However, the public would remain outraged by Caylee's neglect of her child without peace, as Caylee was acquitted in 2011, and the questions of who killed her daughter and why were never answered. In a recent docuseries found on Peacock, Anthony narrates her experience in her own words a decade after being acquitted of murdering her daughter in the court decision that infuriated millions and gained her the label America's Most Hated Mom. Through a detailed analysis of her version of events, exclusive interviews with persons closely engaged in the case, including the cops who initially prosecuted Caylee, and unparalleled access to Caylee herself, the series reveals an alternate perspective on the 2-year-old Caylee's untimely death. Now, like I said, if you would like to be able to have more background than that, go check out the other video. But we're going to go ahead and dive right into this portion of the docuseries. This is where Anthony is talking about how now it's her father's fault that everything happened, which is yet another shift from her story earlier. But let's go ahead and dive in.
I can see him standing there with her in his arms and hand her to me and telling me that it's my fault, that I did that.
Okay, so right off the bat, there are a few things that are happening that are very prevalent and obvious. Obviously, we're seeing some anger, hostility is in here. Now, this is playing out in a number of very specific veins. We could see that coming into the frustration, general frustration and anger coming in with the narrowing of the eyebrows, lowering and narrowing in the middle there, especially seeing the wrinkles here and the glabella, the action up there. So that's coming in. However, we can also see some very prevalent disgust coming in the corners of her mouth as she's talking about these various aspects. And then there is some chin jutting as well. That is aggression and defiance. So she's very aggressively defiant while talking about this instance here. Maybe that makes sense in context with what she's talking about, especially if she is speaking of a terrible thing that her father did. However, that aggression is very prevalent there, so we're understanding this. Also, just so you know, I am working off of some of the knowledge from the previous analysis that I did. So once again, tying these two together. But let's go ahead and continue watching this.
That I caused that. And I just collapsed with her in my arms. She was heavy. She was cold. As I'm sitting there with her on my lap.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and pause again. So now we've shifted from this aggressive kind of feeling, and there's been some cuts in here. This was obviously released by a secondary or third platform. So if you would like me to be able to go and watch the entire docuseries myself and more or less dissect the actual interview all the way through, let me know in the comments of this video. But for now, we're going to be working with what Court TV has given us. So during this, we're seeing a shift from the aggressive anger that we saw before to this more perhaps sad display. And we're hearing a few nonverbal things in there with the shakiness of her breath. Also looking down, that breaking of eye contact can indicate the genuine display of emotion, as it's difficult to maintain eye contact, be it with a person or a camera lens, while feeling genuine emotion that way. And we're also seeing some glistening in her eyes. So there are some indicators that this could indeed be genuine sadness and grief that she is displaying here. It does contrast a little bit with what the aggression showed earlier. I'm not sure that these two are flowing together very nicely. I would have to be able to see a little bit more during that to be able to tell. I have heard some people say that perhaps the display of anger and aggression while talking about something like this could be related to deceit. That's not actually necessarily true. It could be on specifically Anthony's level, if that's part of her baseline perhaps, but as a generality, just because a person is displaying anger or frustration or disgust or contempt, that does not mean that they are being deceitful, just in case you were curious. But let's go ahead and continue forward with this. We're going to see if there are any other nonverbal misalignments here to see perhaps there are some indicators of deception. Let's go.
Just hysterical. Just staring at her, not knowing what to do. He takes her from me and he immediately softens his tone and tells me it's going to be okay. That she was going to be okay. That's what he said to me. And I don't know how long I sat outside. I don't know.
Okay, so now we're seeing more of that anger and frustration come in on the upper half of her face. So this anger and frustration seems to be directed directly at her father, which is fascinating because that sort of tension did not exist prior in the case. There was tension, obviously, but not to this degree. So now there's this new dynamic that Anthony is throwing into here that just doesn't fit with what she had said before. But I find it fascinating that she's really leaning into the aggression on her father's side of things. But let's see how that all plays out. There's just a few seconds left, and then we'll talk about that.
I sat outside. I don't know where he went. He took her from me and he walked away.
Okay, he took her from me and he walked away, shaking her head no the entire time. Now, with that, I don't know where he went. That's where the no started coming in, which that would line up, synchronized. And then it continues through, he took her from me and walked away. Now, that continuation of a head shake, like that left and right, that could very well just be in relation to what was just stated, so it wouldn't be a desynchronization there. Along with that, if she's saying that he did this thing, it might be unbelievable to her, so she would see that as unbelievable. Once again, a no shake would come in there. So that would be considered synchronized. So this is fascinating to me. A lot of the displays that I'm seeing from Anthony could be considered synchronized. However, it is still interesting that, again, the story has changed, and whenever a story changes again and again and again in this situation, then that in and of itself is a red flag. So if you would like me to be able to take a look at the rest of this docuseries, I know that there is a lot of information packed around this, so if this is of interest to you, let me know in the comments below. Thanks again to our sponsor today. If you would like to be able to reach me or somebody on my team, please go ahead and head over to the socials. They are linked, well, I mean, they're linked everywhere, but they're showing up here on the screen. And if you want to see more videos like this, is subscribe and all of those things like that. But without further ado, that's all that I've got for today. My name is Logan, and you have been oh so awesome as you always are, and I will see you in the next video. Cheers, guys.